There's more! I'm back! CGI shit!
I rest my case.
It was fucking horrible!
Hey guys, what's up? It's BigJackFilms here, and welcome back to an opening night Star Wars edition. The Star Wars month continues, and kind of concludes for a little bit, because we're going to go back to basic opening nights after this one. But honestly, what a great way to end it, because we might come back. We're definitely going to come back for more, because I have enjoyed reviewing these shows, so it's going to probably carry on in June. But in terms of just Star Wars month, in terms of waiting for like episode 2, this is the last one to look forward to. But that, of course, being the final recent season of the Tales series, which is a offset of the Clone Wars show and Rebels and so on. That, of course, being Star Wars Tales of the Underworld. This show dropped literally on May the 4th, which is really cool. And I actually did an interesting thing this time around. I was originally going to wait a little bit until, like, I saw what, like, kind of like what the feedback was. But what's funny is I've been editing episode 2. Star Wars Theory jumped live and was heard about Tales of the Underworld. Like, wait, it just dropped? Okay, I'll give it a watch. So I actually watched it along with Star Wars Theory's commentary. He actually turned out to really enjoy it, and I'm just gonna say, as did I. This is a step up from Tales of the Empire. It's definitely not, I mean, like, I still prefer Tales of the Jedi, but this is definitely a step up in quality and storytelling, with 2 characters once again in the spotlight in 6 episodes. And these ones are actually a little bit longer. They range between 15 to 17 minutes. But let's get to it with the first arc, focusing on, surprisingly enough, Asajj Ventress. So yes, Ventress survived Order 66, she survived the Clone Wars, she's been on some adventures. Now, this has already been established in The Bad Batch, which again, I have yet to watch. But I do know about Ventress's return. Now, I am also aware that, according to a Star Wars book where she apparently fell in love with Quinlan Vos and was ultimately killed, this show smartly opens up with adapting parts of the book of that novel, where basically I think Obi-Wan and Vos have Ventress revived, surprisingly, and by the Night Sisters and so on, which is really cool. I actually don't mind that. So here she is, back from the dead, still the same character, but now in the post-Revenge of the Sith timeline, she is under hiding. She's not trying to draw attention to herself. She's got a really cool hairstyle, which I think is really cool. And, I mean, I'll admit, I'm a fan of Ventress. I think Ventress, ever since the 2003 Clone Wars, I'm like, I like this character. She is ultimately the Catwoman of Star Wars, as I put it. Very much that femme fatale, that sneaky, thieving kind of, like, way of moving. She's very much Catwoman to me. I'm surprised the voice actress has never voiced Catwoman, because she would actually be pretty kick-ass at it. But to the point, she's on the run from the Empire, comes across a little kid who you think, okay, well, this kid's just seeking refuge from the Empire. But, no, it turns out he's a little Jedi apprentice, and so she takes the kid under his wing, and they go off on these little adventures to get away. They even go to the planet that was established in Obi-Wan, the show, which I thought was a nice callback. But then on top of that, apparently Quinlan Vos might be alive. So I'm like, alright, let's go. It's funny, because I remember reading the Revenge of the Sith comic book adaptation, and there's a lot of deleted scenes in the comic that didn't make the final cut, and one of them was that Quinlan Vos was on Kashyyyk, or Felucia, and he gets killed. And that, I guess, is no longer canon, I guess, to a degree, but in this case, basically, Vos is maybe still alive, and there's like a whole new adventure for Ventress to go to, which we'll have to wait till they do something with that. Live action, I think, would be really cool. I think it's about time we get Ventress in live action with Hayden Christensen. That would be amazing if we could get that rivalry. Now, I've been hearing a lot about Ahsoka Season 2. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little excited. But to the point, I really did dig this arc. I did like how we see more of Ventress becoming more of a good guy. She's still an anti-hero to a degree, but she fends for herself. But she is more or less joined the good guys to some degree, which is cool. And the fact that she takes this kid under his wing, basically as her own apprentice by the end of it, which is cool. But what I really also like is the fact that we see veteran PTSD sort of stuff from the end of the Clone Wars, namely in an officer who was part of the Separatist movement. And you can see how this guy never stopped fighting the war, even after it was over. There's a whole moment where Ventress and her apprentice come back with water for this guy, and he sees that there's enemies of his that have been bugging him, and they try to get him to keep the peace, but he's shaking with this blaster. And Ventress is telling him, you've been fighting the war, you haven't learned to let go. And it's a really powerful line. I never thought, I mean, I knew Star Wars would eventually probably talk about, like, veteran stuff. There probably is in this universe. But to a degree where you see it from that perspective and sort of telling a thematic element about veterans and what they go through after war, kind of interesting. I like that Star Wars dived into that. I think that is a really cool idea. But ultimately, that arc was fantastic. And while a lot of people said, oh, it's okay, a lot of people dug the next arc, which I did too. The Cad Bane arc, the Cad Bane origin story. I fucking love Cad Bane. Cad Bane it was intentional, but he's Villain Cleef in outer space. And if you know The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, or any of the spaghetti westerns by Clint Eastwood, Villain Cleef is a prominent actor in those. And, not Blondie, Angel Eyes in The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, and Cad Bane is an exact alien replica of that character, and to see his origin makes him really tragic, because you have him where you start him with his best friend, his little kids, their little hooligans getting into trouble in some trading planet, and then Cad Bane ends up joining these bounty hunters, and his best friend gets arrested, and he never sees him again. It's really sad. But then you see how ultimately he becomes this savage bounty hunter, this savage like guy who just does not give a fuck. And then ultimately he goes with this guy, his mentor gets killed, and then he takes up the hat. You see where he gets his hat and shit? And then it turns out he's also banging his boss's girl, and she's pregnant, okay. And then he goes down to find his friend. He gets arrested by his friend after killing a guy, and then his friend, his childhood best friend, takes his girl and raises his son as his own. And it's like, I never thought Star Wars would go all Steve Wilkos / Maury Povich, but god damn! This is great storytelling. I don't know who was on the writing on this one, Dave Filoni probably, but this shit's great. And also the fact it's a spaghetti western. It's very much a western, even down to like the music is very Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, which I thought was really cool. There's also some nods to Aladdin, of all things. Again, it's Disney, alright. Because like you have when they're little kids, they call them street rats, and then at one point, they steal these melons and eat it like Aladdin and Naboo do in the movie. And I'm like, are they gonna come across a magic lamp? Like, what is going on? Is Newt Gunray Jafar? Genie, I wish to make my second wish. I wish that Queen Amidala would sign the treaty for the trade disputes. I don't know. But I really dug the Cad Bane arc. I dug both arcs, ultimately. These were really fun. Nice additions to the Tales series. I love this series. It's small, it's short, it gets to the point. It's new Star Wars without dragging it out too much. But the Tales series has been relatively fun for me to watch, personally, and to get to know these characters. So, overall, this is one of the better seasons of this show. I still prefer Tales of the Jedi, first and foremost, because that Count Dooku arc is superb. But this is a step up from Tales of the Empire. I really want to see where these characters go next. I like where this is all going. I like how they integrate them and find out what happens to them. It's a great anthology series. Highly would recommend this. So, this season is ultimately like an 8 out of 10. And about a 9, actually. I'll give it a 9. I thoroughly enjoyed these two arcs. Very simple to the point. Kudos to the animation team. Well done. So, Now, I want to hear from you guys. What are your thoughts on Tales of the Underworld? Let me know in the comment section below. Do you like it more than Tales of the Jedi? Do you like it more than Tales of the Empire, or less? Where do you rank it? Let me know. Of course, support our Patreon. Just $1 more will get you early access to all of our content, as well as other special features. I don't know what's next for opening night. I definitely want to do more Star Wars stuff as I edit and work on, ultimately, Episode 3, which is going to be a nightmare. But I'll probably keep these up at some point as sort of random. We're actually going to do a few more opening nights down the line. It's going to be more than just once a week. But let me know your thoughts, of course. What do you guys want us to cover and so on. We'll try to get to them as soon as possible. But until the next video, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. This is BigJackFilms signing off saying, that's it really for Star Wars month. We'll definitely come back with more come post-production on Episode 3. But for now, this is it of like the main weekly Star Wars opening nights for this time around. But until next time, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. So, take it easy, and may the Force be with you, and have a great fucking Star Wars month. I'll see you guys in June. Take it easy.